Hello, my name is Cameron Buck. I'm a personal sales associate working for Volkswagen of Brandon. Volkswagen of Brandon is the largest volume Volkswagen dealership in the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, and Clearwater areas. Today, I will be giving a sales presentation with the goal of selling one of Volkswagen's premier models. As there are many different variations to choose from, my sales presentation depends on listening and understanding the client so they can be fit with a vehicle that specifically fits their needs. Today, I will be speaking with Mr. Zach Field. Mr. Field is a recent graduate of the University of California at Berkeley, and along with his recent graduation, Mr. Field has been offered a job locally in the Tampa Bay area. To celebrate his new life, Mr. Field has decided to purchase his first vehicle. Mr. Field plans to have this vehicle with him for the next 8 years, so is looking for a dependable vehicle that can handle whatever life has to throw at him. That said, Mr. Field was born and raised on the West Coast and holds the environment in high esteem, so fuel economy is a must. At the same time, however, Mr. Field still desires sportiness and excitement along with everything else. After doing some research, Mr. Field is highly interested in Volkswagen due to its dependable reputation. He has set up an appointment with me in order to discuss this interest. It is clear from a brief phone call that Mr. Field is an analyzer communication style. While my method of conversing is more boisterous due to my natural promoter communication style, I will use my enthusiasm strategically while delivering strict facts and figures that are geared to fit his needs. My presentation to Mr. Field will be highly tailored to him and will be cut and dry while loaded with facts and figures for him to ponder. On top of this, I will supply him with extensive paperwork on research studies pertaining to miles per gallon, horsepower ratings, and safety features. This second level of information will fit his desire to consider the possibilities alone if he doesn't decide to close today. This will also give him a tangible connection to me and my company. Mr. Field's hot buttons will be a disorganized presentation, unclear delivery of facts, and an overzealous social attack. The objections I will be handling today are the boomerang and agree/neutralize. My closing strategy will be the special deal, and now I will begin my sales presentation. Mr. Field, it's good to see you.
Hey, it's good to see you, Cameron. Don't call me Mr. Field. That's my dad's name. You can call me Zach.
Whatever you like. It's good to finally meet you in person. How was the drive?
It was alright. I'm still getting used to the 3-hour time change, so even though it's noon, it's still feeling pretty early to me. And then the traffic in front of, what is that called over there?
Oh, that's the Westfield Mall. Directly behind us on Adamo Drive?
Yep, the Westfield Mall. Who is doing shopping at noon on a Wednesday? I don't know, but there are tons of people over there.
It's crazy. You'd be blown away what kind of traffic we have around here. After we talk today, let me show you a couple easy ways to get around town.
Okay.
So, would you like to begin?
Yeah, please.
Perfect. Let me start out by saying that I've worked at Brandon Volkswagen for 8 years now and truly do love my job. It's a great mix of customer service as well as my deep desire for automobiles. I'm very pleased that you expressed interest in Volkswagen. Would you like me to give you a brief description of the company's background?
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
Awesome. Well, Volkswagen was founded in Wolfsburg, Germany in 1937. Since then, has grown to become the second largest automobile manufacturer in the world, only second behind Fiat. Since the beginning, Volkswagen has been known for two things: unparalleled German engineering and its lasting dependability. Currently, there are 11 models of Volkswagen vehicles to choose from. Now, I know a little bit about your situation from our phone call, but I'd like you to outline where you stand today and how I can best determine which vehicle to put you with.
Well, being a recent college graduate, this would be my first big purchase. Since I have no idea where my life's going to take me the next decade, I'd like a car that's going to stick with me for at least that long. Something that I don't have to worry about tinkering with or fixing up every few months for at least the next 8 to 10 years.
Awesome. Yeah, we definitely have a plethora of vehicles that could fit into that category because everyone knows Volkswagens do tend to last. But I have a question about your fuel economy. How are you feeling about miles per gallon versus performance?
Well, growing up in the Pacific Northwest, I've always been very conscious of my impact on the environment, so I'd want to stay far and away from anything that would be considered a gas guzzler. But at the same time, having a car as underperforming as let's say a Prius, would bore me to tears.
Oh, I completely understand. Everybody loves a car that gets up and goes.
Yeah.
Well, let me make sure I understand your situation, though. You want a dependable vehicle that performs highly and has great miles per gallon.
You got it.
Awesome. Well, judging by your situation, I would have to suggest the Volkswagen Golf GTI. The GTI is the performance version of Volkswagen's Golf.
Hmm.
As it stands, the Volkswagen GTI is the premier four-door sports car in Volkswagen's line. It hails from a long list of predecessors beginning all the way back in 1976, so you can be assured that its dependability is well above par. This dependability is invaluable to someone who's beginning their adult life, because you never know what's going to happen. You need that car to be ready every time. Well, specifically the engine, it's a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine. It's designed to be as simple as possible while still maintaining a high level of performance. This engine has also been used in the past 3 GTI models, and its dependability has been tested over the last decade. Aside from the engine, you can depend on everything inside a Volkswagen vehicle, specifically the GTI, to be able to handle anything you have in mind for it. Can I ask if you have any hobbies?
Yeah, I commuted every day to and from school and work for the last 5 or 6 years, and so biking is one of my major hobbies.
Biking, yeah, I love biking. There's some great bike trails around here. But what you got to do is, oftentimes you can't bike there, so the GTI would be great for you because you can put the seats down in the back and fit 2 full-size bicycles inside the cab with you.
Wow.
That, for one, keeps them out of the weather, keeps them from being damaged in transit, and also keeps them out of thieves' hands because nobody wants their bike stolen.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Well, I know you've heard a little bit about the car. Would you like to see some trim packages and pricing options?
No, thanks, though. I still have quite a few more questions. One of my concerns is that you mentioned that the GTI is a sports car, and that it's very high-performing. And I like the sound of that, but it does have me a little worried about the car's fuel economy. How does it compare to other vehicles in its class?
I understand your concern about the vehicle's fuel economy, but I'm pleased to inform you that the Golf GTI runs the highest miles per gallon to horsepower ratio in its class.
Ratios can always be a little bit hazy. Do you have the specific stats on that?
Well, the GTI produces 32 miles per gallon while still producing 210 horsepower. I actually have a chart here that compares the GTI to the Ford Focus and Hyundai Veloster, 2 cars that are very close in its class. It compares it on the grounds of horsepower, torque, miles per gallon, and overall price. You can take a look here.
This chart right here. Okay. There's a lot of great information on here.
Feel free to take that home with you. We have plenty of information you can take home and really crunch the numbers yourself.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you're satisfied, however, I'd love to begin the proper paperwork so you can drive your GTI home right now.
Oh man, I wish I could say yes, but I do still have more questions and concerns for you. One of them is something that you mentioned a little bit earlier in terms of when you were talking about the dependability and history of the GTI. You mentioned that it's had the same engine for the last 3 iterations, could be almost a decade. It sounds like the engine itself would be a bit dated. Is there any new cutting edge technology I could look for in that kind of engine?
Let me see if I understand your concern. You want to know if the engine needs to be updated, correct? Because you're concerned about having outdated equipment.
Yeah.
Well, I can assure you that the engine still performs just as good as its competitors in its class, and I think it's a testament to the GTI specific engine that it has been run for the last 10 years. So you can rest assured that that engine has unparalleled dependability,
Yeah.
especially for someone who needs a car to last for the next, 8 to 10 years. Does that solve your dilemma regarding the GTI's engine?
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't really think about it in terms of dependability, but I definitely would prefer that over having something that might be a little newer, but something I couldn't rely on as much.
Exactly.
You know. Well, now that you've cleared that up, another concern that has come to mind is that I noticed that Tampa being such a populated and urban area without any real smog regulations, the air quality is pretty poor around here. And I'm wondering what the long-term effects on the GTI, long-term negative effects on the GTI could be in terms of, sucking up all that bad air every day on my
So you're weary of the effects of poor city air conditions on your vehicle.
Yeah.
Well, I can assure you, I have driven my personal GTI all through Tampa, and I have had no issues. Also, Volkswagen vehicles all come with a specially designed air filter designed to handle city air quality. So it kind of makes that dilemma less important. Here's a sheet here that shows you where that filter is located in the vehicle, along with specs compared to local cities.
I see where it's located.
Here's a
Where
chart
this-
here.
yeah.
Here's a chart here that shows you exactly the numbers so you can evaluate.
No, that's great. I see that here.
Perfect. Feel free to take both those sheets home with you so you can have those to show whomever you want to consider this option with. Do you have any more questions?
No, you've done a great job. You've answered all of them.
Well, if all of your concerns have been dealt with, I'd like to offer you a special deal this afternoon for closing the sale today. I'd be willing to offer you free oil changes for the first 30,000 miles if you're willing to purchase your new GTI this afternoon.
I'm gonna have to say yes.
Oh, that's great news to hear. It's been great doing business with you.
Great doing business.
I'll start the
with you.
paperwork.
Thank you.